Hey, how's it going everyone? We're here with Jiraiya. Yeah, he came out in 2018 I believe, so he's one of the later releases from the original line to come out. And as you well know, it's now May, so that means coming this month we have Naruto and Sasuke for the renewal of the SH.Figuarts line, so super hyped for that. Definitely looking forward to getting a hold of those and giving them a good play and review. They are definitely looking good in terms of articulation and sculpt. But yeah, so up until they come out, I do want to get through a couple more of these older figure videos. So Jiraiya, we've also got Gaara, Lee, and hopefully the Sage Naruto. So at least hopefully 3 more. But we may leave one until next month before Sakura comes out too. Anyway, this is definitely one of my favourite ones. I'm looking forward to a new version. However, this one still holds up pretty well. So Jiraiya here. On the front, he was a Bandai, premium Bandai release in Japan, so we do have that logo, and then the Studio Parrot one there as well. And as you can see from the main image, he does come with a Rasengan effect, which is cool. As we swing around, we can see some more of those iconic posing, and he also has the ice blocks, which is really cool. So yeah, let's pop him out of his box and get a closer look at what he comes with. Okay, so in the box he comes with his arms crossed, attached, and then he does have the additional left and right arms there, which will pop onto just below the shoulder. Now he does have a couple of sets of hands. We've got the fingers spread, the gripping hands, and then another spread hand one. I believe that has a peg, maybe? Nope. Okay, that's got the swirl symbol painted on the other side, so we'll get a closer look at that a little bit later. He also has one additional hand up top here, which is attached to the Rasengan effect. It's not like the Naruto ones, which you can easily switch and change around. He also has the ice block, which he splits apart and gives to Naruto in that touching moment, which is great. And then we've got the kind of teeth gritting, the winking, smiling look, and just the neutral smile. And then obviously the big jolly smile on him already. And then he also has his notebook as well. So yeah, overall pretty nice selection of accessories. And he also does have his big scroll on the back there. Okay, it's out of the packaging now, and we can get a bit of a closer look at his overall finish. I mean, for this figure, it is kind of old, so there is no weathering. Then again, not many of the newer Tamashii figures have weathering either. However, the painting and the colour separation of everything is nice. He has that kind of nice metal mesh look down below, the green for his pants and his inner top, and then again with a dark burgundy colour on the scroll, and then his what would that be, cloak, his outer wear as well. And then he does have his red getter. Now these do make it a little bit hard to pose him. Here's one of those characters that does lend itself to using a stand. Now due to his kind of wide waist, he doesn't have many places to attach one, which is a shame. However, you can clip a stand around the scroll there. That tends to be what I end up doing myself. But his hair looks really nice. Got that real long hair with nice spikes. And as we'll see a little bit later, there's a little bit of articulation there too. Yeah, but all the painting, all on his chest, nice. The gold highlights, and then the printing of the kanji on his forehead is super clean as well. So yeah, overall the finish is really nice, even if it is a little bit basic in terms of just being straight plastic. So to pop the arms off these, just kind of need to swivel them up a little bit, and yeah, okay, that one they popped off easy enough. And the other one just grabbed his upper arm, and yeah, these ones aren't too bad. It does pop on and off pretty easily. Next one is just line up the next arm and push it on. Oh, let's try this one first. There we go, that one clipped in. You do have to be careful. If you swivel this around, this top shoulder part will pop out. So it's pretty easy if you slide that shoulder joint around so you can get a good grip. Angle it up, push this on, and push it over the peg so you get the end part there showing, and then you can line up the arm, and then that should clip on. Okay, I've got his arm on now. It's just a little bit hard to do it reaching around the camera, but you just have to get a good grip on the top and then just slot it on. Okay, so for the articulation, his head has a nice left and right swivel, and yeah, it's pretty, I guess, off balance due to the weight of his hair at the back. but you can kind of swivel this around as well quite nicely, and then that will help him move his head left and right. Though the bangs will kind of hit his shoulder. It's okay for an older figure. Might need to adjust the peg direction to get a bit more of an angle going on. For his shoulders though, these are pretty nice. Oh, pop that off again. I'll fix that later. These have a nice swivel butterfly joints as we saw a little bit earlier. So yeah, this is pretty much similar to the latest 2.0 style bodies that we get, though I don't think it's quite as polished as it could be, especially in the way the arms do pop on. For the elbow joint at least, has a decent range there, and then again for the wrist, depending on which way you point the peg, has a decent range of motion as well. Moving down to the inner chest area, this is separated on the bottom and on the top, so you do get a decent range on that lower joint, though the kind of upper or outer red part of his jacket will kind of get in the way and kind of push it back, but you can kind of grip the center part of his torso and get a little bit of a twist going on there if you need, but most of the movement will come from that lower hip area. For underneath his legs, again, these are pretty similar to the 2.0 Dragon Ball figures and so forth, but you got the outside rubber and the inside rubber, which is quite thick, so it is quite hard to maintain the pose sometimes. These will kind of pop back in, so it is quite fiddly, but there's a decent amount of range you can get going there. And these are pretty nice as well, so we're up and around as well. There we go. So decent range there. Everything feels pretty nice actually for the lower half. For his ankles, yeah, decent sized peg there, so everything does move quite nicely, and you also do have the slight toe tip there, so the getter will move separately as well, so that is quite nice. So the current one on is the open mouth smiling. That looks really nice. You also have some nice colouring on his underneath his eyes there. Actually, let's pop this off. Believe, yeah, that comes off, and then his bangs are separate, so there he goes the actual face. So yeah, that one there looks really nice. Let's switch over to another face now. The second face we have here is the kind of teeth gritting, kind of concerned look, which is quite nice. A little bit derpy compared to what they could do these days, but there's still some nice detailing on the face. You even have his kind of mole on the side of his nose, and again the printing of all the lines on his face looks really clean. Next up is the smiling and winking look, and I love this one here. Nice kind of big cheesy grin with that kind of wink going on there. I think that looks really nice. I think this one here, breaking the ice block with pose with Naruto, would be absolutely fantastic. And finally, we've just got the basic slight smile one. This is a pretty neutral face, and yeah, again looks quite nice. You even have part of the cheeks there kind of ruffling up at where he's smiling. I think yeah, it looks really nice. Okay, so when you want to switch the hands, you'll notice there is the armor plates on there, so you have to pop those off as well, and then underneath there'll be an L or an R depending on the hand. So in this case we've got the left hand, which has the Rasengan attached, so we'll slide the peg hole, pop that on, there we go, and then we can put the armor back in. So a bit hard to see, but on the armor there is a short and a long side, so it's quite easy to match up, and once you do have it there, it will just slot straight in. And this is the Rasengan effect, which I think yeah, looks really nice. Let's flip this around. So it's actually got a slight duotone, so more of a clear colour with a more deeper blue on top. I think yeah, it's a really nice effect. Okay, so one of the cool hands we get is an additional left hand, which is what he used with the painted swirl in his palm when he was teaching Naruto how to do the Rasengan. So I think that's really cool. Definitely allows for those nice master pupil type of a setup, which is really cool. I've switched out his right hand here. It has a fist shape, but it has a little peg hole there, so you can slot in the ice block accessory. So you do have a left and a right hand version for this, but the hand also doubles as one that can hold his little wee notebook. So for the notebook, we just have to slot it in between his thumb and his finger. Let's tilt up for a bit of a closer look. There we go. So that's really nice. All the hands work really well, just nice and simple. is basically held most of the accessories for this figure. Everything, I mean, it's not that old, I guess, about 4 years. It's held up pretty well so far, and he has a nice range of accessories. Okay, so we've got the best selection Naruto and Jiraiya here next to each other for a size comparison, and yeah, I think it works really nice. I mean, he's just above Jiraiya's shoulder there roughly, and I think that works really nice because he was pretty big in the show. So yeah, I think overall these two together looks really good, but what I would really love to see is the kid version of Naruto. That'd be paired up beautifully with Jiraiya for those mentor type photos, and even display purposes would be really nice. So hopefully Tamashii in the long run will eventually release the original young version of all the characters. Definitely looking forward to that. Okay, so final thoughts for Jiraiya S.H.Figuarts version. Yeah, he's awesome. I really do like him. I mean, he's a little bit clunky in terms of posing, especially with the lower section because of the hard plastic. But the detailing is pretty nice, even if simple, no weathering. His scroll does move slightly, and he does have the hair articulation, and it holds itself pretty well. I mean, it is quite thin, so it's not anything like the Dragon Ball Super Saiyan 3 Goku figures, which have a huge volume of hair. But yeah, for the small amount it has and the length, I think it holds it up pretty well. The Rasengan effect is really nice. I love the duotone colour. The ice block is awesome. I love how he comes with those. And then yeah, the faces are really nice too. I mean, they're pretty straightforward, but I think they're executed wonderfully. Yeah, the colours, even like that, is nice. My only real cons, the getter are pretty basic. I think if they had a little bit more, I guess, detailing on them, it could have been quite nice. A little bit of weathering on him would have been good, and maybe sort of thinner rubber. But that's all the type of things that I'd love to see in a 2.0 version of him, which I'm sure they will be doing, since it seems like we are getting a Kakashi as well. So eventually we will get a updated version of Jiraiya here. When we do get that one there, I'm hoping, yeah, nice articulation, kind of thinner material so it doesn't hinder his movement, sort of nicer looking gaiter, and maybe a little bit more hair, maybe a little bit more articulation. That would be really good. But other than that, I think, yeah, pretty solid figure. If you can still find him, I think he's worthwhile picking up. I wouldn't break the bank for him, but he is definitely still a solid addition to the line in any collection. But yeah, do let me know down below in the comments what you think about this figure, if you have him or not. And for a 2.0 re-release version of him, what would you like changed or added in terms of accessories and all of that. But yeah, if you do want to check out more photos of Jiraiya here, there's some at the end of this video. And you can also check them out on rockchala.com under his reference page. Anyway, thank you very much for watching, and until next time, cheers!